Good morning. So I'm excited to have with me today Mike Hines and Scott Euler from the Euler Hines Coldwell Banker team in Cincinnati, Ohio. So how are you gentlemen today?
Good, doing well. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So I'd love to start out, Scott, if you could tell us a little bit about your team, the size of your team, your sales volume, and how you and Mike came together to form a team.
Yeah, so we're located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati is kind of borders Northern Kentucky, so we have a little Northern Kentucky satellite group as well. There's 20 of us on our team, including support staff and agents. Did about 200 million in production last year, and right around 400 units or so. I think we were just shy last year, the year before, over 400. And Mike and I, we merged our teams a little over a year ago, and it's been a great move for us. Kind of how we got together. Mike primarily focused on new construction, worked with a lot of our custom home builders, finding infill lots and working with them. I did most of my business was just your traditional resale business. And Mike and I just had similar philosophies, similar ideas. And Mike would go to a conference and he'd share information with me and vice versa, because we really didn't compete against each other a whole lot. And so we were talking about maybe sharing just some back office help as our teams were growing. And we thought, what the heck, let's just merge together. And so Mike really runs our new construction side of the business, and then I run our traditional resale side of the business.
Awesome. Thank you. So I think we started talking to you two shortly after you joined forces, right? And then in March, you decided to come into our T3 Fellows program. So thank you for that. It's really been a pleasure to work with both of you. I'm so impressed with so much of what you do. But one of the exercises that we've been working on together is strategic intent. And have you ever done that before, individually, separately?
We have not. That was the first. We've talked a bunch about it, probably talked till we're blue in the face about, where are we headed? What are we doing? All of that sort of thing. But unfortunately, the day-to-day activities sometimes get the best of you versus planning and strategizing. So, and I was just going to say, Scott, actually, I don't know if you've realized this. I just looked at the calendar. September 1st is actually 2 years. So Friday from now, is our 2-year anniversary. So happy anniversary.
Wow.
There you go. There we go. That's right.
Yes. So this was the first time we had done it, probably with the actual criteria and kind of more of more structure for a strategic intent, which has been exciting.
Awesome. And so what specific outcomes were you really hoping to get from the exercise?
I think when we talked about it, Mike and I were a little all over the place. As he mentioned before, we get so caught up in the day-to-day, and we really needed a crystal clear vision. I think one of the things we realize is we're leading an organization, and if we don't have a clear vision, how can we expect the rest of our team to follow where we want to go? And if we can't paint that clear picture, then we're failing as leaders. And we were struggling a little bit with, where do we want to go? We kind of knew what we wanted to do, but we really didn't communicate it very well. And we kind of waffled a little bit on where we wanted to go. We thought we wanted one thing, but in reality, we were probably doing another. So to take a step back and really carve out the time that, you and Dean have basically said, hey, look, we've got set time and assignments to do, and it's forced us to really focus on it, and it's been extremely beneficial.
So it sounds like you feel like now you have a clear vision and milestones and projects to get there.
Absolutely.
And now it's executing, really kind of starting to share those thoughts and ideas and executing on the things that we had, which we're lucky, right, Scott? We have an awesome team, awesome agents. So I think that was like one of our biggest things is how do we be better to everybody and just continue to improve the whole team. So it's been fun.
And have you shared your strategic vision with your team?
we're rolling that out as we speak, because there's different pieces that happen at different times. So we're rolling that out, just talking to things. It's honestly not much is dramatically different than what we had initially kind of came together and talked about. So as far as the vision itself hasn't changed dramatically now, it's just really just executing on the action items and the missions and principles that we put together, our projects.
And I think you've gotten more specific, right? When you first came, like, it was sort of like, okay, we have this great vision, but like really diving into the numbers, right? Like, what does this mean to accomplish this? How many agents do you need? How many units do you need to do to get to where you want to go? Right.
That's what was great is I think you guys really challenged us to be very specific. It's easy to just kind of vaguely say, well, some rough numbers here, some rough numbers there. And you and Dean definitely challenged us to really be much more specific. And also probably, push us to be maybe a little bit more aggressive as well. Thinking
set the bar higher.
Yeah, set the bar a little bit higher. And through those dialogues, I think helped us kind of come to where we ultimately ended up and where we're headed. So
awesome.
I think that really helped out a bunch.
And what are you doing differently now as a result of that exercise?
I think what we really have done is put timelines to everything, understanding where we're going, what we're doing, what needs to happen by when to make sure we can make it to the next step. And it's a fine balance between trying to do too much and too little, with Scott and I both in production, obviously there. So we're trying to make sure we are aggressive enough on our timelines to move things up and as fast as we can, but at the same time, not go too fast where we just spiral out of control. So I think that's it, is being kind of relaying the message and where we're headed, and then making sure we have action items and we hold each other accountable on those. So I think that's it. Which we'd always been pretty good at, articulating what we wanted to do, as a team. We're really big on trying to make sure we get collective feedback from the team, the agents, the leadership staff, all of that, those sort of things, and the staff, of course. So we want to make sure we're doing things the right way, first and foremost. And that's what I think we've been able to balance pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is we've, Mike and I now, we have a standing 7 a.m. breakfast, and this is all we cover during that time, just to make sure, once again, we're holding each other accountable and trying to, move the needle and get a lot of this that we need to get done, versus, once again, kind of letting the day-to-day sales, get in the way of trying to accomplish what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. As part of our fellows program, we do this in-person retreat for those of you that don't know that are watching. And Mike and Scott were at that retreat. And what I loved about it is that they stayed. In fact, they even asked us, they wanted somebody to help discuss everything that they learned at the retreat so that they could put it into action. And you spent an extra day and dedicated time to working on your business. Knowing that as soon as you went back to Ohio, you'd be thrown into working in your business, right? So
right.
Kudos to you both for that. In addition to the cold plunge that you dragged Scott to.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we know Dean bought one afterwards, so
that was awesome, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, so you're halfway through the fellows program. Anything else that you thought was a strong exercise that you wanted to share on?
We loved a lot of different portions. It's funny because you come in thinking, we're like, oh, we're really strong here, maybe not so much here. And there's so many more components to your business that we can dive deeper into right now. And that's, I think, what has been most fun is you all have such a well-rounded and just vast level of just expertise and insight into so much that's been helped to tap into, because I know there's the different modules, right, that are through the fellows program, but then you take it a step further. And we've thrown some curveballs and said, hey, well, what do you think about this? What's going on? So just you all being there to answer and give us feedback on certain things that we're going through has been really, really helpful. And I know we've probably taken advantage of that more than most out there. So
no, that's great. We're here for that.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think when we were originally talking to you guys, we were like, well, maybe we only need this one module, and we were going to just do the one module and not the whole thing. Review. And we quickly realized, like, thank goodness we didn't do that. We're doing the whole thing, because there's all these different areas of your business, that, like Mike said, where maybe we thought we were really strong, that there's definitely a lot of areas for improvement and just to help us think and look at our business a little bit differently. So I'm glad we ended up doing the whole thing versus just the business review piece.
Awesome. Well, one last question, because you guys were on the fence for, I don't know, I think almost a year, right? Before you finally pulled the trigger and said, we're going to do it. What would you say to anybody else who's on the fence about joining the program?
I honestly, it's probably that, hey, in the sales pitch that you all do, you're not even scratching the surface of what's in there. Because we had toyed with all sorts of different coaching, different, business consulting, just things that would help keep us lined up. And diving deeper is what you say that you offer and what you actually are two different things, meaning you guys go so much further in depth and really invest in us as people, as business owners, as, teams. And that's the best part. It took us a little while because we didn't know exactly what we wanted. But now that we're in it, there's been so much good stuff to come out of it. So we're excited to put it all into action and keep going with y'all.
Well, thank you both. I've actually learned a lot from you too. I mean, I'm really impressed. I work with a lot of teams and I'm so impressed with you. So there's so many things that you're doing right. And I know we can all improve a bit, but thank you for sharing and thank you for being here. And if anyone is interested in learning more about T3 Fellows, we also offer, they mentioned the annual business review as an a la carte offering. And we also have a new program called the Buyer Brokerage Assessment Program, which we are doing for brokerages and teams to help you get in a better position for the buyer segment of your business.
Yes.
So
shout out to that right there. As we just finished ours with you all, it's been super
awesome.
helpful.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining us and have a great week.